I'm going to assume that everyone has Blender installed in the packages that Ritesh and Ajay would have provided. Once you start up Blender, this is the screen that's going to be visible to you. This is how Blender starts up. And once Blender starts up, uh, you'll be presented with a cube. This is the starting object that it presents you with. And you'll have multiple controls. Now, your basic work is going to be happening in this total area, that is the 3D viewport. And everything else is basically operations that you're going to be using to perform something on this particular object that's going to be there. Now, you'll be able to use any number of objects there. For example, now I can delete this particular object here by just deleting here by pressing delete, and the object disappears. And if I press Shift A, you'll get this menu. Please let me know if I'm going too fast. I'll slow down. If I press Shift A, you get this menu, and you'll be able to add another object, such as a circle.
Monisha, let us ask the participants whether they have opened up the Modelica
Okay,
software.
okay. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
So, because we need to take up all the participants along with us, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let us ask the participants to open the Modelica software, and we need to wait for a few minutes so that they are okay with the session.
Okay, sir. Please let me know if you have any trouble opening it up or anything like that. If everyone's good, we can proceed.
Are all the participants have opened up their Modelica software?
Modelica is not required now, sir. Blender.
The Blender.
Yeah, Blender. Okay.
Shall I go ahead? Someone please let me know in the chat box.
Yeah. So one participant has responded.
Okay, great. I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So once you open up, I guess this is what we're going to have.
Monisha, can you open up from the beginning? I mean, you can start from the beginning itself.
Okay, just a second then.
Yeah.
Video is taking up bandwidth, so it will be
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm guessing my screen is visible. Can you see the Blender opened up?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
visible.
once you open it up, this is what you're going to have. Yeah. So this is what you're going to have, and this is what you'll be starting with. So all your operations are going to happen in this particular screen, and all your tools and everything will be on your left and your right. Now, starting with, you'll be presented with this object, a cube, and you'll be able to perform multiple operations on it. We'll get to that in just a minute. You'll also be able to add other multiple objects. For example, if you wanted to add, for example, something else like a cylinder. Now, all you'll have to do is you will have to select the object and press delete. So it gets rid of the current object. And press Shift A. Go to mesh, and you can select whichever one you want here. For example, a cylinder. And it gives you a cylinder. So please try it out. Let me know if you have any trouble. Okay, so you'll also be able to perform multiple operations on this object. For example, if you want to move it. or scale it or things like that, you have operations here. So you'll have to move, rotate, scale, and transform. That is basically a mesh of all these three functions together. So now if you want to move the object, you can either press this or you can press G on your keyboard. So if you press G, you'll be able to move this around. It will be attached to your cursor and you'll be able to move this object around. And if you want to place it at a particular place, all you'll have to do is move it and click. So it gets placed. And if you want to undo it, of course, you can Control Z. The same way, if you want to scale it, you can, if you want to rotate it, you can either press this or you can press R on your keyboard. So what that does is you can rotate it here. If you want to rotate it along this axis, it rotates here. And if you want to rotate it along another axis, you can press X. So it rotates around X axis, or Y. So it'll rotate along Y. Similarly for Z. These same functions are also available for move. And if you want to undo this, you can either click and Control Z, or as it's happening, you can just right click. So it undoes whatever was happening. So just to recap, if you want to move, you can press the object, press G, and it will move. And if you want to snap it to a particular axis, you can press X or Y or Z. So this applies to all of them. This applies to your move, your rotate, your scale. The last thing we have to cover is scale. So to scale, all you'll have to do is press S. So this is just scaling the whole object. If you want to scale along a particular axis, again, the same thing. So this is along X axis, this is along Y axis, and this is along Z axis. And if you don't want to make any of these changes, just right click. So it undoes everything. So those are the basic actions that you can do with any object that you put here. And if you guys have any trouble with this, please let me know. You can let me know in the chat box, or just unmute and tell me.
Yeah, Monisha, you can continue with the tutorial. I'll check out the messages.
Ritesh, you're not audible. Okay, I'll carry on then. Okay, so what we're going to be doing in today's session is we're going to be modeling a football. So to start with, what we'll be doing is we'll need to delete this current object. So what we'll do is to delete this, you can either press X, it will give you this menu, and all you'll have to do is enter. So it deletes this. You can either do that or just press delete. Either one of those work. So once your object is deleted, you'll have to place the new object. So the object we're going to be placing now is an icosphere. To place that, you'll have to press Shift A and you get this menu. Go to Mesh and select icosphere. Okay. If there's any trouble, I'll just repeat. Shift A, icosphere. That's it. And once you get that, you'll have a menu over here. So go to that menu and reduce the subdivisions to 1. So you get this. I'm assuming everyone's along with me. So please stop me if I'm going too fast. Once this is done,
Monisha,
yeah.
how did you create that cube? Can you just explain with Shift and?
Sorry, I'll just come again. So all you have to do is Shift A, Shift plus A. Gives you this
Shift plus A.
Yeah.
Shift and A.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Because basically we are trying to juggle between two windows, your window as well as the tool which we have. So by the time we come back, you would have moved, or
no, that's fine. I'll go slow. That's why I'm repeating the steps.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Just Shift A and you'll have that
icosphere. Okay, so you'll have this here and make the subdivisions to 1. So you'll have only one subdivision. Just you can have a look on my screen. This subdivision will currently be set to 2 for you. Just make it 1. Okay, so once that's done, what you're going to do is you're going to press tab. So tab is going to move you to a new mode, a mode that is called edit mode. Now, most of your modifications to the object will happen in this edit mode. Now, I'm not going to go into detail for each of these operations because that will take way too long. But the most important ones that we're going to be using is extrude and bevel. What extrude does is it pulls out or pulls down the certain faces of your object, and bevel will change the shape of some particular faces and things like that. Now, first thing what we're going to do is we need to make this look like a football, as it have the faces of a football. So how we're going to do that is we're going to basically create the shape of that pentagon here. Okay, so how we're going to do that is you're going to go to bevel. That is either you can click on this or you can press Ctrl B. So I'm going to click on this. Now, once I do that, you'll notice this yellow handle that appears. So if you drag that, it does something weird, but you can see that it has the pentagon. But it is not exactly what we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Ctrl Z. What I'm going to do is, once it's back to this, I'm going to press V. So when I press V, this happens. So you get the faces that you need. I'll just do this again so you can see it. When you press bevel, this is going to happen, which is not what we need. So what you do is, as you are holding your handle, press V. So you get this, right?
The problem will be divided into subtask 1, subtask 2, subtask 3. Means further compartmentalization. The body of the program is once you get the result, once you get the marks card, you are going to categorize the results. One is below 60, above 60, you are going to compartmentalize. If you have only 50 to 60 marks card, that's fine. But if you have a more than that, what you do? Thousands of students you have, what you do? Then subtask will help. Because as a university, it is not the calculation of one section result, it's the calculation of there are hundreds of sections will be there, considering the 4,000 availability of students campus. And again, subtask is very, very important. When we give the algorithm, the problem should solve not only for the problem, which also should solve for the bigger problems. That's why algorithm call it an algorithm. Okay. So then the body of the program is a huge data there. You are going to compartmentalize into subtask 1, subtask 2.
Hello, Mr. Manisha.
Again, subtask 1 will be divided into subtask 1A, 1B,
Professor Manisha?
subtask 2A to be like that. You are going to be divided.
Professor Manisha. Yeah, I think you can continue.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing everyone got so far. So you'll have the pentagon face. Just to recap, I'll just do it again. So what you'll be doing is you'll have to select the bevel option. And this handle you'll have to drag. We are not currently at where we need to be. So you press V on your keyboard, V. So when you press V, you get this.
Manisha, on the tool, we don't have that bevel options on the left-hand side. How do you get that options?
Okay, so just a second. So
because by default, these are the things which we have.
Right. Press tab on your keyboard and you'll get this option.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So once you press tab, just press bevel over there.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So once you press bevel, you'll get this handle. Just drag the handle and press V. So once you press V, you'll be able to see the faces of your football. And once you're satisfied with however big you want your faces to be, you can let go. And just let me know if all of you are together with me so far, so I can go ahead. Pranali, should I repeat?
No, ma'am, now I got.
Okay, great. Okay, so once we're so far, if you want to readjust the size of these edges, all you'll have to do is adjust this width. This width comes from the, once you set the bevel, this itself will show up. So once you've set that, you can just adjust the faces as needed. So once you're done with that, what we're going to do is we are going to pull up the faces a bit. So how that's done is you go to the extrude region option. Now we are not going to be using this exactly. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold and press extrude till you get extrude individual. So how that happens is you have to hold and press till you get extrude individual. Once you have that, you'll again have to hold the handle and push it in such a way that the faces start coming out like that. So don't go too far, just so that it is just a little outside, you can just make sure that you click there. And again, if you want to adjust it again, you can just do that here. As a recap, I'll just show you again. So you go to bevel, you go to extrude and extrude individual. Press the handle and just pull till you get it where you need it to be. Just a second, I'll just redo this. Yeah, so that's where it will be, right? Okay, is everyone here with me so far? Okay, I'll continue then. So once this is done, you can press tab again. So you'll go back to this mode. Now, once you're done with that, what we're going to do is we are going to add something called modifiers. Now, what modifiers does is it's going to give you more multiple surfaces to work with, and you can do multiple things like adding a better curve and things like that. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So in this right side, you'll see a spanner type thing here. So click on that. That's your modifier properties. Now, the first modifier we're going to add here in add modifier is subdivision surface. So what you need to do is you need to go to your modifiers and click add modifier and subdivision surface. Now it will do something weird to your object, but don't worry about that for now. What we can do to adjust it to a better shape is you press tab again. So it goes into this edit mode again. So you'll be seeing this menu and press A. Now what A does is it selects all your faces of the football. So what you do, you press tab and go into this mode and you press A and A will select everything. Once you do that, press N. Now N will bring up your transformation options here, right? So what do you have to do? You have to press tab. Once you press tab, you press A to select all the faces of your football. And once that's done, you press N and N will bring up this transformation menu. And here what you do is you increase the mean crease and you can go all the way till 1. Or you can set it a little lesser, but somewhere between 0.7 to 1. So I'm going to go with something between 0.86 or something like that. And I'm going to leave it there. Everyone so far with me?
Manisha, sorry to tell, but I think it's slightly difficult to follow. It's slightly faster.
Okay. Where should I repeat from?
Basically, we are new to this tool, and
right. It's fine.
And to tie it, before clicking, you would have gone to another option, and we are finding it a little difficult to follow up.
It's fine. I'll just repeat again.
Can you just tell how you have increased the size of this wall?
Just a second. The size is it? Okay. Now what I did for that is, now you have your, I'm not sure if you're using a laptop or a computer, so it will differ accordingly. Now, if you're using your laptop, all you'll have to do is you'll have to just use however you scroll. So when you scroll, you use 2 fingers, right? So scrolling up will basically go back and scrolling down will basically zoom it. So that's what you use to zoom. I completely forgot to mention that. So That's how you zoom, right?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Now I'll start from how I extruded, that is pulled out the faces. I think that should be fine, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, I did not get that movement using Babel also. I don't know about others, but I'm slightly finding it.
Yeah, it's
New.
fine. Okay, then I'll go over that also. Okay, so what happens in your bevel is just bring it up. Put it in whichever direction you want. You'll eventually find out like where you have to exactly go so that you get the required shape. Now, for example, if I go directly outside, this is what it's giving me, which is not what I want. So go slower, try, experiment. See, now this is still not the shape that we need, right? So what we actually need is just without these squares in between. So what I did for that was I pressed V on my keyboard. So this will give me this. So again, experiment, try going a little outside or something like that, and you'll get this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I hope you got it.
Yeah. Then how did you get this window now?
That comes up on its own. So as soon as you
Okay,
let go of
it'll
your-
pop up. It'll pop up soon after you click that, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can continue.
If you need some time to finish it, I'll wait for a few seconds and then I'll continue.
No, I'm fine now. You can actually start with the next option.
Okay, great.
where-
Okay, so you can adjust the width again, like I mentioned. Once that's done, now you'll have to go to extrude. Now extrude is to pull out the faces. Now what's done for that is you'll normally have another option here. You'll have this option here. So what happens is you'll just have to click and press till you get these options. And here you will select extrude individual. Just to recap, hold and press extrude and select extrude individual. Okay. Right. Now this is similar to what we did for the bevel. What you'll have to do is you'll just have to hold the handle and drag. Now, when I'm dragging like this, it's going inside, which is not what we want. So I'm going to drag the other direction. So when I do that, it's pulling out the faces, which is what I want. So once that's done, I'll let go. And once that's done, you can again reset how far you want the offset here in this menu. So as soon as I let go of my mouse over here, you can adjust this. So as needed, I can either push it down or pull it up. So I'm just going to leave it here, right? If you want me to recap, I can do that. So extrude individual, hold the handle and drag in the needed direction. So you'll get this and you can adjust it again here, right? Now, once that's done, what you're going to do is you're going to press tab again. So when you press tab, you exit your edit mode. You come back to however you normally were. So far, is everyone with me? Okay. Great. Now what we're going to do is we are going to add some modifiers to it. Now, like I mentioned, modifiers will give you extra vertices to work with, or it'll add a curve for you or things like that. So you'll be able to do quite a lot with modifiers. But today we're going to only look at two modifiers. So to go to modifiers, you'll have your right side panel and you'll have to select this spanner here, which is called modifier properties. When you select that, you'll get this. There, go select subdivision surface. So on your right side, the spanner, click add modifier and subdivision surface. Right? So this is what it will do to your ball currently, but don't worry, we'll adjust it again. Everyone fine so far?
Any participant is facing any kind of difficulty? If you want the speaker to go a little bit slower, that is also okay. Please respond.
Yeah, I'll repeat. Okay, I'll go ahead then. So once you apply your modifier, this is how it's going to look. Now, this is not what we need right now. So what we're going to do is press tab again. So like we did before, you'll enter into edit mode. So what you're going to do is you're going to press tab. You'll enter this. Now what happens is you'll need to adjust this again. So to do that, what we do is you're going to press A. What A will do is it will select all the faces and vertices in your current object. Again, so you'll press tab and you'll press A, and A will select everything. Once that's done, what you will do is you will press N, and N will bring up this transformation menu. Just to recap, you press tab. When you press tab, it will bring up the edit menu. Press A to select everything in this object, and then press N to bring up this menu. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you are going to increase your mean crease. Your mean crease is your last option right at the bottom. Now you'll increase that all the way to 1 first. Now you'll ideally need that value to be somewhere between 0.7 to 1. So you can set it anywhere in between. That's up to you. Right now I'm going to set it to somewhere around 0.85, right? And I'm going to leave it like that. Now once that's done, you can press tab again, and you'll go back to your normal, your user perspective mode. Sorry, your object mode. So once you're here, you'll have your modifiers tab there. What you'll do is you will press your add modifier again, and you will press cast. Just to recap, once you increase your mean crease, you will press tab. So you come back to your object mode. When you're in object mode, you press you'll already be in your modifiers properties tab anyway. So just click add modifier and press cast. Now that will give you this, right? Now what you can do is you can increase your factor. Your factor is, I think, your first option. So you can increase and decrease that depending on however you want it. For now, I'm going to leave it at 0. Okay, you can make it to either 0.5 itself, or you can change it to 0.6. I'm going to set it to 0.6, right? So this is what you'll have. Now we're almost there. The last thing that we need to do is select your object, that is select your ball, just click on it, right click. And when you right click, you'll get this menu. Now in this menu, just click on shade smooth. And this is what you'll get, right? And this is your ball. So, so far, that's all. This tutorial is basically covering how to make this. So if you want me to recap anywhere, please let me know. I'll go back and I'll cover everything again. Please let me know in the chat box if you've missed out anywhere or anything like that. I can go back and do it again. Okay, sure. I'll explain the shortcuts. Are you talking about the shortcuts to the move, scale, and things like that, or just in general everything? Okay. So the main shortcuts that you're going to be using are the ones here. So now I'll explain with this ball itself. So if you want to move it, now to move the ball, you'll have to press G. So G as grab. So if you press G, you can move this around. And like I mentioned, if you want to move it around a particular axis, you can press either X, Y, or Z. So X moves it along X, Y moves it along Y, and Z moves it along Z. Right? Now, same way, if you want to rotate, you have R. So you press R. Now, again, like I said, you'll have to press X, Y, or Z. And based on that, you can move along a particular axis. And if you want to undo it, of course, you can right click. And of course, to scale, you have S. You can either press here or S. So if you just move your cursor, it will resize the whole object. Or if you want it along a particular axis, you can go for either X, Y, or Z. So those are your main shortcuts. For the ones in the edit mode, the main ones that you will be using are the bevel and the extrude. So for extrude, it's E. And for bevel, it's Control B. So for the purposes of this tutorial, those are the main ones. And if you want to select everything in this object, you press A. And that will select everything in your object. So for the purposes of that tutorial, those are the main shortcuts that you'll be using. So yeah. Anything else? Please let me know if anyone's stuck anywhere or anything also. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Monisha. Am I audible? Monisha. Fine, so now the 3D model part of making a ball is done. So the next part would be to call this particular 3D model in Unity and do whatever actions we did with the cube in our last lecture yesterday. So we'll try to repeat all that. So this is kind of complete hands-on for you, because I'll be guiding very less in this particular lecture, because we have gone through what are the various scripts required for moving an object in Unity, like rotating it, and we even went through how to interact with it. So I'll keep my lecture to the minimum, and I will require your participation to the maximum, that you try out things that I tell you to do. Yeah, Monisha, can you stop sharing your screen? I would like to present. Yeah, all right. Okay, so one second. Yeah, let me know if the screen is visible.
Yes, your screen is visible, but you need to open up the window, I think.
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was on this window. Yeah, so what you have done so far is created a Blender model of a football, right? So here I have what you have done is created it in Blender, right? So your football would be less colorful right now. It has black and white as well. I did it earlier, but that doesn't matter. It would still be a ball. So what we want to do now is we want to call it in Unity and perform some actions like some animation on it. For example, the first thing that we'll do is simply rotate it, right? What we did with the cube yesterday. But the cube that we used yesterday was inbuilt. So all we did for that was just right click 3D object cube. It also has sphere, so you could simply use sphere as well, but it's always good to know all the factors that go inside go into making a VR solution. So that's why we wanted to cover Blender as well. Now I'll show you what is the expected result in our first exercise. So what we want to do is like simply just hang the ball in the air and rotate it in any of the axis. Right now I'm doing it in towards top axis, but you can do it in any way you want. So this is what we require to do. Now how to do it? So one second. So all of you have installed Unity, so you will have you all of you know already how to start it as well. So when you type Unity in your start menu on your Windows system, you get this Unity app option here. So you just click on that Unity app option, so which opens up all the models that are there currently on the system, right? So for example, yesterday we did some rotation, so you might have named that model something, so that model would already be there. If you want to reuse that, just replace the cube with ball, you can do that. Otherwise, create a new model, and you know what are the steps required for it. So simply just click on new here. uh, we are going to make a 3D model, name the project something. You can name it rotating football or anything, uh, and then press create. So I have already created it. I won't do that, but so once you are on this screen, all you would currently would see would be something like this, and assets folder will have just some one folder called scenes, having one file called sample scenes. So as I told you earlier, that everything that we try to build or we try to add into Unity inside assets, right? So first thing is that we want to, the model that we have created, we want to use it in our Unity packages. So one way to do it is, like, once you have created this, you right click on assets, click create, and then click on folder, and name the folder models or anything. You can name it anything. So just to be organized, name that folder models. Okay. And if you double click on that, right now you won't have anything here. If you want your model to be there, so you might have saved from the Blender session, you have to save the football that you have created. Okay. I think we didn't go through the saving part of it. I'll do that. Yeah, so once you've created your model, you click on file in Blender. It's the same as you would save any other file. You can either click on Control S, or click on save, or you can do save as. You can provide some name and location where you want to store it, and that will save the model that you have created with all its details to that particular location. After that, what you have to do is, like, wherever you store it, for example, if you store it on desktop, so from desktop, just right click, copy it, and paste it wherever you have created your model. For example, I created it on desktop inside this folder. So my model, this Unity model name is bouncing ball. So I just go inside it. Inside it, I have assets folder. I go inside assets, and because I have created models folder, so that will also be there. And inside that, I can just paste it. If I paste, because right now I already have it, so I didn't do the cut paste, but that's what you have to do. So copy and paste the blend model. Don't worry about this blend.meta. This is auto generated. So once you get it here, after that, Unity automatically locates whatever new assets you add. It automatically locates them, and this .meta file is actually the related information which it generates. So for example, it will be file name, which is in this case is ballblend.blend dot meta. So which is just meta information about the model. Similarly, such files are created for scripts as well, but that is auto generated. It's no worry about that. So then, uh, I guess everybody's following it. Yeah. Okay. So once we are here, once we have captured our model, it is inside our assets folder. Okay. So then what we have to do is the simple drill. You just have to click on it, keep pressing your left button of the mouse, and drag it to the sample scene screen, to the hierarchy screen. So once you do that, it will bring in football to this arena. And one more thing that happens is that generally when you get something from Blender, its cameras and lights also get imported with it. So if you want to avoid that, then before uh, like dragging it here, if you have already done that, then you can simply delete, and you can drag it again. So before dragging, I think for you import camera and import lights, by default it is tick marked when you click on the model. You just have to uncheck it. So with that, what happens that only the lighting and camera information of Unity is used, not that of the Blender. Otherwise, it creates a problem, because then you will have two cameras, multiple lights. So that makes your scene unpredictable. So before dragging and dropping it, just uncheck those two things: import cameras and import lights. So once you're done with that, then you can simply drag and drop it there. So and it will so if you make any changes in the this thing, if you're making any changes here, it will ask you whether you want to save those changes. So you just have to click yes there. Then if you have imported the ball, it would look something like this in your scene right now, right? And if you try to look it through the game window, it will look something like this. It might require some adjustment to the left, to the right, that where should the ball be placed so that it comes right in center and all that. So that you can do by just clicking on main camera and moving the main camera around. So using the camera preview, you can figure out that where should the camera be placed so that a ball is in the middle, just to look aesthetically look good. Otherwise it will still work even if it is not in middle. Then next thing we want is just to get the idea of a 3D space. We would want certain plane to be there. We don't want it to be just simply a sky and then nothing underneath it. So we want to cast its shadow as well. So what we'll do is we'll right click in the hierarchy section. We'll go to the 3D objects and select a plane. So what's a plane? Plane is nothing but this section here, right? Now once this section comes, you can see that now ball is casting shadow, so it just looks good. So good, otherwise it doesn't solve any problem or purpose here, but it just looks good. And then if yesterday we had gone through moving things around and rotating them. For example, if I want to move the ball around, we have told you that this is the move tool. Similarly in Blender also you have all those tools, and you have it in this Unity as well. Like if I want to move it around, then if I want to rotate it by certain angle, that also I can do. Like if you want to numerically, for example, you want to go rotate the x-axis by 90 degree, then you can just click on the component that you want to rotate and put a number. Like sometimes you would want that it should be rotated uh, at a very specific number, so that you can do here. You can put rotation like in x-axis what angle, y-axis what angle, z-axis what angle. That will also rotate it. Similarly for position also you can do that you can put new positions here, and that will also move it. So these are the move and rotate part. Then one more thing is there, which is called scaling, which you Monisha also just told you in Blender as well. Scaling is nothing but changing the size of your object in any of the three axes. So if I change size equally in all three axes, that will just make this ball smaller. If I change it in just one axis, that will deform the ball. It will become elliptical because we are just changing in one dimension. So if you want to make something appear smaller, then you have to just scale down each and every axis of it. For example, if I want half of its size, I will simply write here 0.5, and now you can see that it is looking flat, not like a football. But when I make changes to all the axes, the football became smaller. Similarly, you can increase the size as well. Like if I make it 2 instead of 1, and 2 and 2. So that can also be done. Now football is bigger than what it should be, right? So these are all the functions. Similarly, I can use this uh, like graphically also I can do this. I don't need to put numbers, but numbers we put just so that we can get some absolute value and we are sure that whatever action happened was correct and to the value that we wanted. So yeah, I'll keep it to original 111 only. So now you can see it has come back to its original size. But sometimes, like if in Blender you have created a small football or any other component and you want to increase or decrease its size, you can do using this scaling section here. So that's about scaling. Then next thing we want is, for example, I told you that our end result is going to be that I want to rotate this ball in certain axis, right? So first thing to do for that is just figure out what are the axes here. So Y is going upwards, Z is coming out of the screen, and X is going left and right. So my current movement is that ball is, if this is y-axis, then across y-axis it is rotating. Like if I wanted it to move forward backward, then I would have done the same thing for x-axis, and similarly for z-axis if the third dimension if I wanted. So scripting I have told you yesterday as well how to do it. So just to organize in assets, create folder, name it scripts or any name you want to give, just to organize it. And then inside script, right click, create C# script. So which will create a C# script. I have already created this rotate, and we have gone through rotate script yesterday. So I am not going to open this. I'm not going to show what are the contents of it. So this is a kind of activity, hands-on activity for all of you, that you might have followed everything till here. What I want you to do is just write this script, and you know what you have to do after that. If your script is correct, what you have to do is just select the component or the game object that you want to this script to run on. For example, I want the ball to rotate, not the plane, right? So I will just click here. First I will click on the ball model, which is like called here ball blend, right? And I'll click on rotate script, and I will drag and drop it here. I already have it, so I won't do that again. But this is very important because, for example, just to give you an example, if I accidentally drag and drop it on the plane section, then I'll show you what will happen. Now you can see even the ground is rotating. We don't want that. Ground is fixed, right? So we would not want to make that mistake. Yeah. So yeah. So this is the task for all of you, that create this rotate script. We have already created it yesterday for 3D cube. Create this script, put it into the football model, and see if you get this get a similar results or different results. So we can do this task. It's not a very big script, so I'll give you 5 minutes for doing this. And once you're done, you can put the message that you have done and you've got the proper output. So we are good with that, right? You want to practice it?
Ritesh sir, actually, with Blend tool, you have got that ball, right? So that you have imported to Unity. Can I import any other image and then make it move like how you have done? Like I can take a ball on the some image from the website and put it in the asset, drag and drop it.
So image you cannot do because we are talking about. Ma'am, you will have to mute your mic. Yeah. So as you would have seen, so Blender doesn't create image; it creates a 3D model. So it has all sides of it. It's not the image is two-dimensional. For example, if I use my photograph there instead of football, that won't work because it's just showing the front size of my face. It doesn't have the details of all around. So it requires only 3D objects to be there, and that's one of the requirements. So yes, but the question is partially correct that can you so the question should be that can you import 3D models from somewhere else? Yes, you can do. Online, there are several resources for it. So there's something called GrabCAD, Free 3D. So all those websites provide CAD models for free. So somebody else has made those models. All you have to do is just filter it for Blender. So where there they have categories like which, because as I told you yesterday that there are many softwares which can be used for creating 3D models. Blender is just one of them, which is open source. Okay, 3ds Max is there, Maya is there. So you just have to select the proper software. You will say that Blender files I want, and you search for what model you want. For example, instead of football, you want a cricket ball, or say you want a bat even, or any other 3D model. So you will search for that model. If that would be available on that website, it will give you option for downloading it. Some of them are paid, some are free. So that is there. But it should be 3D. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, thanks, Ritesh.
Yeah.
Ritesh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I have given a task to make this ball rotating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is I'm not going to show what is the code for it because we have gone through it yesterday. So this is just to get a hands-on experience of doing it on your own, kind of DIY. So yeah, I've given 5 minutes to finish this task.
Okay.
Then we can proceed.
In the meantime, can you turn on your camera so that I can take a snapshot?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Can all the participants turn on your camera so that we can take a snapshot of the session? Kumar is here. Professor Kumar? Kumar D? Okay. Just a second. I will take one more snapshot. Just a second. Screen. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So if anybody has done, they can share their screen as well. And show whether or not it is working. Yeah, could anybody finish? You can write in chat box if you don't want to show screen, whether or not you have done. Anyone? Okay, in fact, more than 5 minutes are over. So if anybody has done, they can show. Otherwise, we can continue. Yeah, I'll need some response. Anyway.
Participants, if you are facing any kind of issues, please share your views.
Okay, no one. Okay, then I'll continue if there are no answers. Okay, so uh, I won't show what the script was because or what it should be. I'm still expecting all of you to write it yourself. But I'll continue with what we had done. So this is just a revision of what we had done yesterday. So other thing that we had done was we had tried to interact with the object, right? And yesterday what we did was that we uh, interacted and tried to change the direction of rotation. Similar thing we can do here as well. Okay, uh, script will not change, so that's one hint because we are doing this performing almost same action on both the objects. So here also, if you have created a new model, then you would require to import the Google VR SDK as we did yesterday. And if you are working on yesterday's model itself, yesterday's project itself, then it would already be there listed in your assets. So, for example, for me, um, I have it listed in this Google VR. Now, there were few components that we were supposed to call here. Like, for example, we had a GVR controller main. Then we had GVR editor emulator, Google VR editor emulator. Then we had GVR. So with GVR editor emulator, what happens that currently when we are rotating it, we can't see around, but with the emulator, we can look around as well. Okay, so football or emulator is right on top of its head. That's why it is coming like this. Yeah, so this was the first, this editor emulator, what it does is it just starts the VR. So we can look around now and we are not fixed to just one view. We can look up, down and left, right. So we have already gone through it yesterday. And in the script also we made certain changes to incorporate for a new function which will make the direction to go negative to whatever it is at the moment of clicking. So which would make the football to go left or right rotation. So yeah, we can do that today as well, and that again is an exercise. So you can follow what we had done yesterday. and and repeat the steps that we had done, and try to get the same functionality here as well. Try to get the uh, pointer on it, then uh, when you click on the ball, it should change its direction of rotation. So these two things are there, and that will sum up the session today. Now, if you're interested, I'll like to see the outputs that you get, uh, and that was this section for that all of us can get a good hands on the VR. But if you want to do it offline and can show the results later on, or if you just no need to even show, like if you do, you do, then you can do it later. Then we can call it a day. Otherwise, I'll be happy to see if anybody gets output.
Any response from the participant side? Any questions?
I think we should tell all of us to switch on our cameras again, just to make sure everybody's in front of their systems.
Yeah. Can I
Yes, sir,
request you all to turn on your
I'm just kidding, sir. That was a joke. Because no.
Thanks for your session. Only one comment I would like to share is, at least for me, I need more practice myself.
Okay.
No, probably I'm not able to catch up the speed with you people. I am little older than you people. So that is my feedback, but it may not be applicable to all other participants. So I
no,
will
sir,
come back to you after a few days when I do
sure.
some practice myself. Okay.
Exactly. So that's
I got all the idea. I downloaded the software. I did something, but I could not complete the task you gave. So I will try and come back to you later.
Yeah, sure, sir. So that was the idea of this particular session, that because once you try to do it, only then you will have good questions to ask.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to try, you can try it right now. I'm okay with
No, I will do it later
time
with this
extending as well.
myself. Yeah, I need more time. I will do it leisurely. I have all the tools and software.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And moreover, sir, the recording sessions will be shared to you.
Yeah, I have seen that. Whatever you shared yesterday, I have
Yes,
seen
sir.
that. It is very
Yeah.
useful. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes, sir. The same thing, it will be repeated for all the other days as well.
Okay.
So that is another thing that I would like to bring to your notice.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, any other participant would like to share something about what is being
Yes, sir,
discussed?
I have.
Yes.
Yes, sir, I have one doubt. But apart from means today's session, my software is not responding properly. Can you see it, sir?
Apart from today's session, okay, yeah, you can share your screen. I'll check it out. You'll have to share your screen. This way it creates flutter and I can't see it. Okay. Yeah, you haven't activated license. So you have to go on top and click on activate license, new license, and then you have to select a free version of so just select the personal. And your audio is not on. If you are saying something, then I could not hear that. Okay, sir. Then
Yeah.
I guess we are not getting any responses here, so we can sum up today's session. Uh,
Yeah.
if they want to try, they can try it later as well, and tomorrow also we can see if anybody gets outputs. The hint is that the code is same as it was yesterday.
So can you tell the information about why I am getting this?
Yeah, I just told you. So you haven't activated the license.
But sir, I have logged in.
Yeah, after login, you have to click on activate new license, and there you will get options. So you have to select the personal one, which is free. So there you will get two options. Either your company makes less than $10,000, or if you do not use it in commercial capacity. So any of the two options you can select, and that will start Unity for you. Then you have to go to installs. There you have to install the latest version of it, the latest LTS version of Unity. That will require a good half an hour or more than that, depending on your internet connectivity. And then you can come to the projects and there select new and create new project.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Any other questions from participants end? I think we can call it a day. Once again, I would like to thank Monisha as well as Mr. Ritesh for taking us through the Unity 3D. And there is a small change in the tomorrow's schedule. The first session will be taken care by Mr. Ritesh once again, but the second session I was supposed to take at 11:45. I have a institute level meeting which was unexpected, so I need to reschedule at 3 o'clock. I mean to say, I will be taking up this session at 3 p.m. Tomorrow instead of 11:45. And Mr. Uday Kumar, who is a teacher at Art of Living, will be taking up this session at 11:45 a.m. So this is a small change in the tomorrow's schedule I would like to bring to your notice. With this, I would like to thank the participants as well as the resource person for sharing their views. We will meet tomorrow. And a link to submit your feedback will be shared shortly through email. Kindly submit your feedback accordingly. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Yeah, thank you, sir.